This is the Earth Science Classroom. Welcome back. This is topographic maps video on contour lines number 3. And this is the third installment going through what a contour line is, how we draw them, what are they, the rules linked with these contour lines. And this video is going to take you through a step-by-step procedure of how you create your cross-sectional profile of a given location or given area on the map you're provided. Now, this could be a lab, this could be just in general with any kind of contour line map or topographic map. So anything you want, so you can take a section and convert that two-dimensional or three-dimensional contour map into a side view perspective, which is called a cross-sectional profile. So, step 1, we have our contour map, topo map on the left-hand side here. The green is vegetation, the white is going to be just bare rock or some kind of exposed rock. And we see that we have our contour lines. Now we see we have our index lines, the bold pronounced ones, every fifth one. And we have them with elevation. So some have elevation, some don't. So here's our one with elevation and elevation there. Okay, and if we follow along that contour line, which we know is equal elevation along the entire line, then you'll get to a point where you'll find one or two elevation numbers stated on that index line. So we can figure out where the high points are. So we have the high relief versus the low relief. And if we're looking at a general area of hilly or mountainous areas with some valleys, or mostly a flat plateau or flat area maybe. But as we can see, the contour lines are very close together in much of the map. Therefore we have some steep gradients. And we have some valleys and some ridges. So the highest point on the map I can see, the index line is 1100, and the smallest index elevation listed is 600. Now there are, so highest and lowest for the index. Now there are smaller contour lines which we assume are decreasing elevation, so we're into the 500s. And in terms of the unit of measurement, looking at feet for our elevation or height above sea level. So step 1 is going to be just acquire, look at the general information, the features that the map provides. So step 2 is the contour interval, or the CI. So the CI, again, we have 700, 800, and I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, we've got 800, I'm using as a contour index line, 700, which equals 100. There are 5 contour lines between the indexes, so 100 divided by 5 equals 20. So our contour interval for this map is 20. Now, why do we care? Well, again, we can use gradient for this, as well as a consistent contour interval. And we can also use this to create our profiles, our cross-section. So step 2 is acquire or get the contour interval for the map. Now it's the same map, I just got a black and white version for this part, this step 3. So I have added 2 locations. So basically you want to figure out where or the location of your cross-section or profile is going to be. Now you can choose anywhere on the map, any distance, any scale, but I put one location, point B, right here on the top of this ridge or hill, and I put A, the second location down here, just in a lower elevation down here, where you see that the gradient starts to get more gentle. It's not as hilly, and it starts to flatten out towards this part of the map. So I have point A to point B. and I'm going to imagine myself, so I'm going to draw a profile graph, which is basically like this, right? So you have elevation on the y-axis, and on the x-axis I have distance. So you can basically have A here and B here. I'm going to imagine myself starting to walk, here's me, walk in this direction, along this distance, along this path that I have chosen for myself to my destination, which is point B, and I am going to basically, create a line which represents the terrain or the relief of that area based on the contour lines. So I add the contour interval, which is 20, which helps me out when I want to create the profile. And I've just drawn this green line with a ruler from point A to point B. So I know the exact straight line path I'm going to walk, in theory. And I know that I can figure out where the contour lines cross over. So I started on one contour line, right, which is here. And see right there? Every time the contour line crosses my green line, I make a little indentation. Now you can use string as well. I've seen people use string, and they lay a string, a taut piece of string over the line A to B, and they mark off on the string, which is probably a more effective way of doing it. I just can't show you on this video the string. And then all you do is take that string and lay it down on your graph paper from point A to point B, and you have already on the string where you mark off each contour line where they cross, you have that there as a given distance. Now, you can do that, that's fine. Let's do it a different way on this video. So step 4 is you're going to start to create your graph, your profile, your cross-section or profile. Now this means that you're going to look at point A to B from the side, right? Don't forget the contour map itself, or the lines, you're looking from an aerial perspective, from the air, bird's eye view, looking down on the landscape. Now you're going to look across from the side to create a profile view. So here's my point A over here and point B, and I'm going to basically imagine myself walking from point A to point B, and the x-axis right here is my distance and the y-axis is my elevation in feet or meters. Now in terms of the map we looked at, it's in feet, so we can just X out the meters, so the feet is there. Now what you want to do is first you want to establish and create your y-axis for elevation with the exact or close to units of measurement. So on the left here, I've added my units for the y-axis, okay? Starting at 500 feet up to and above 1,100 feet or 1,100 feet. Now, how do I get those numbers? Well, we're using my contour interval of 20. I have this line here, which is 600 going around, okay? And if I come around to where my green line is, AB line, the straight line, I can go down. So this will be 600. I'm guessing this is going to be, you can tell by the U shape, this is a valley right here. So this line here would not be higher than 600, it would be actually lower, so it would be 580. And this one will be 560, and A will be at 540. So I just a little X there. You know, put these in 20s. The little hash marks are 20s, so this one will be 540 right there. So start at 500, and I've gone up to, well, here's my B right here, and there's my 1100 contour line. So it's a 20 interval, so this will be 1120. Again, I put 1120 right there. So I've added in my range of elevation. So when I go to plot my distance x-axis with the elevation y-axis and plot it, I can figure out where my contour line is going to go based on just basic X and Y plotting. So where's my X? Well, when you put the ruler, or you can even measure the ruler and have the same measurement for my graph, or you can extend it by multiplication, but you should have as close to exact location of where the contour lines cross the green AB line, and then transfer that AB line, that horizontal line, transfer it to your graph, and then you can lay it onto A and B either with a string or the ruler, and you can start marking off where the contour lines cross. And obviously you can see right here, this part of the graph going this way is very, very steep gradient. So your profile has to reflect that. Whereas, you know, this part of the graph is not as steep, so it's more gentle. So you're going from 700 up to 1100 very, very quickly in the second part of the graph. All right, so step 5, I've drawn my profile line, my cross-section line. As you can see, my elevation, x-axis, y-axis is good, distance is there, and what I've done is I just marked off mostly, again, you know, having half of the there. So again, you can see that this half is very steep gradient on the right, on the left is gentle, and it goes over the small like side peak at 700 feet. So what I did was I started off, you know, my 540, my 1120, all right, and I marked off the main index lines, the main index points and elevation. So every elevation on the index contour line over my green line A to B, I would mark off at the right distance, right, the right spacing along my x-axis line, and I'll come up and plot my, you know, 1,000 feet elevation point will be right here, and then 900, 800, 700, and I would check the profile graph, but if not, I'll just draw a nice little continuous curved line connecting all these points, and what would happen is at the end you'd have a nice profile, again, showing the gradient, showing the distance. You can even calculate the gradient, which is rise over run over a certain distance, if you had distance down here as well. And you can show and represent your contour map, your topographic map, as a side profile, as a cross-sectional profile. All right, hope this helped you. Steps 1 through 5. Again, you can use any map, any points you want to choose on the map. Some will be given to you, some you can choose for yourself, but the same 5-step procedure works in creating your profile graph. Thanks.